Welcome back to the I Am Passionate podcast. It's your host, Jaren, back with Kevin again today. We're going to be talking about anime, mostly Sparking Zero, but we're going to have some anime. How you doing today, Kevin?
I'm good. What yourself?
I'm doing good, a little tired, but, hanging in there. Got to keep it pushing. So talking about Sparking Zero, first question being because, there were a lot of pre-orders for the game, a lot of talk about it online. So when exactly did you get Sparking Zero, like we're able to play?
So I pre-ordered it 'cause I wanted that season bonus, that season pass bonus. But I was able to play it the hour after it dropped. I was busy with some things, but yeah, as soon as that game was like available to early access, I was on it.
So that means you probably would have gotten because there's the standard edition, then there's like the like $70, there's like the $100 edition, and then
Yeah,
there's
the
like the
collect.
ultimate edition. I'm guessing you got
Yeah,
the like $100 edition.
I got the middle tier.
Okay. Yeah, see, because I got the standard edition. Don't get me wrong, if I could have gotten the middle tier one, I would have, but I mostly just wanted the game. Um, and thinking about it, I'd have to really go back and think, but I myself have never pre-ordered a single game in my life. Like, so Sparking Zero being the
What?
first real game I would have pre-ordered. Like, my mom in the past, like growing up as a kid, she might have pre-ordered some games for me, but I never really asked for a game this adamantly before. That's why I'm saying Sparking Zero is the first. If not, the list is very, very small for me. Um, but so with you also, having the game a little bit early, because you have a little bit more perspective to add than me. What are some of your thoughts about the game and how it plays? Whether you're playing just like the story mode, whether you've played online. What are some of your general thoughts? It's been almost a full week since the game's been out.
I would say the biggest thing that's stood out to me was just how fluid it feels. I think a lot of games at times it can be like really clunky and the frame rate drops and all that. Especially a game like this, you got a whole bunch of blasts going on and stuff like that. I was actually surprised at how like optimized it felt. Like I was worried that it might lag at times or the frame rate would drop when there's a lot of things going on.
Hmm.
But I feel like it's so smooth and like how like you transition, you swap a character, it's like that. I remember, nah, it's not a fair comparison because it was on the 360. But the old Dragon Ball games, like Raging Blast and on it, it used to
Hmm.
take like a good 10 seconds swap a character. You like a whole cut scene, and they would have to jump and fly in, and they have to reload.
Hmm.
Like now, it's like that. You go from Vegeta to Goku, boom, it's like instant.
Yeah, and like thinking of, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 because, this is the fourth installment in that version of it. And like even when you would switch in that, like Goku from Vegeta, it was fast, but it wasn't as fast and as smooth as it is in Sparking Zero. And so like I feel like for me, some of my thoughts on the game, I think it's really, really fun. And like I was saying to you, my brother, I was just so worried that if you would pick a top tier character like Super Saiyan Blue Goku and you're fighting Chaozu, the Chaozu's gonna get effed up. But if you've seen the memes with Chaozu beating baby Vegeta's ass, so if you know the controls, you can stand a chance against anybody, and that's refreshing to see. Me, I don't have all the controls down pat yet. I'd say I'm about almost 75% of the way there. Cause like I see people online, they Sonic Sway like everything, they like snap vanish and it goes on and on and on and on. I'm not that good at that yet. But I think it's really, really fun, and I think that it's been a while since we've got had like as an anime community where I feel like we've had an anime game where it's brought this much hype. Also nostalgia to it because I mean it's the sequel to Budokai Tenkaichi 3. But in general, I feel like there was that decent middle ground of so much hype and so much nostalgia. And after about a week, I'd say the wait was well worth it. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a big W for anime fans, and everybody who just likes fighting games in general. I think this goes to show that a lot of like anime, like I don't know who necessarily like develop, but like publishing Bandai Namco, like they should tell them like, hey, like if you take time, and you put out a good product, kind of like how what happened with college football and
Mhm.
Madden. It's like, hey, like people just don't hate on their game and hate on it or say it's bad just because you're the person who made it or published it, whatever. But if you actually take time and if it feels passionate, most people will give it a chance. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then even then, I think you just make a better product. Just down the line, like you take your time, be patient with it, and just don't rush things out and then just slap like, oh, it's One Piece, oh, it's Naruto, oh, it's Hunter x Hunter. They're gonna buy it. Like I don't know. We've seen the Hunter x Hunter game that's supposed to be coming out. Now it is a very early version of it, but it looks like it's gonna be boring. I hate to say it, it doesn't look like it's gonna be good. But this felt like, and I think somebody online on Twitter said this feels like a Dragon Ball game that felt like it was made by Dragon Ball fans. Like it didn't feel like it was just some company who was like, okay, we have the rights to Dragon Ball, let's make a game. It felt like a group of Dragon Ball fans said, hey, let's put out a game, let's put all our favorite characters in, let's actually make it fun and enjoyable.
Very, very true. We'll move on to our next question. Talk about a little about the story mode. How far are you into the story mode? Because I know, this past weekend, I was at your crib, and I know you were fighting Jiren in the Tournament of Power. So are you still at the same point with Goku, or did you get past that?
I got past that. I finished the story mode. At least with him. The second one I'm doing, I'm on Frieza.
Hmm.
But I did like the first couple fights. I'm still fighting Goku on Namek. Um, I don't know. It's been really fun though, but I haven't got too far into it. Like just playing online and stuff though has been keeping me busy. It's kind of hard to decide which one I want to do as soon as I load up the game.
Yeah, I feel like the same way because there's just so much in Sparking Zero, and it's like, how do I decide? So I recently just defeated Kid Buu. I ain't gonna lie. Like, even though I beat it on the first try, I more so was like, this is getting a little close. Like, I had to keep my guard up because Kid Buu was just kept just like rushing me. I mean, like, bro, like, I see the memes on TikTok when you're on the character selection screen, and when it's Kid Buu, they're playing like NBA YoungBoys music, just whatever, like Savage, Black Air Force Energy music, which that's really, really funny. Um, but for Goku's story so far, like, everybody was talking about the Great Ape Vegeta fight. And like, don't get me wrong, that was incredibly difficult. But I feel like some people, some memes, like they made it a level of difficult that like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being it was basically impossible. I'd say it was at like a 7. It was extremely difficult. I feel like once I got a hang of the controls a little bit better, it made it a little easier. That's just my take on the Great Ape Vegeta fight. Um, Yeah, I'm not sure which one I'll do after Goku's. I mean, I was thinking of doing, I think Piccolo was an option because it's Goku, Gohan, Frieza, Goku Black. I think Piccolo's an option. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I just feel like it was an interesting choice to make those characters. I don't know. I feel like
Hmm.
I won't say they missed, but it was definitely like, what made y'all do Frieza story mode? But I like that though.
Yeah. I mean, who's a character that you would have added so that, we get to play through the main events of their story?
Um, I feel like this particular way is a weird way to do a story mode. I didn't think they would do it like that, but I thought we would have gotten some side characters, more. I guess maybe somebody like Videl. I don't know,
Okay.
like to kind of incorporate GT.
Hmm.
I haven't played it all, so I really can't spoil anybody. But I don't know, like it doesn't seem like they incorporated GT into the story mode at all. But they have GT characters, so maybe I was like, like a Gohan Videl like type of side story mode for GT, and you kind of I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but
I know what you mean. Like, I was kind of thinking the same thing too, but I think the reason why I'd be genuinely surprised if GT gets adapt. If it does, it's only going to get adapted for Goku and Vegeta because I mean, yes, Pan is a huge part of the GT story. So is Trunks, but you got to think the first main villain in Dragon Ball GT is Baby Vegeta. So it's like you'll get maybe Goku as a kid fighting against Baby Vegeta, and then it goes to Super 17, who's not in the game yet. So then, you'll have to fight, Sin, Shenron, Omega, Shenron as Goku and Vegeta. But like, to be honest with you, a lot like, and there's a whole other podcast, just other than say really Goku, every other character just gets done so dirty in GT, in my opinion. Every character. And like, yeah, we've talked about it before. There's like Dragon Ball Z, half the battle is waiting for Goku. But it's like, I feel like at least in like Dragon Ball Super, or even early in Dragon Ball, I feel like other characters stood a chance. Like, for example, like, I feel like Piccolo, for example, like, he's not getting beat in one punch for the most part. Like, he's fighting, holding his own. But then, with as Dragon Ball Super moved on and on, it's like, okay, yeah, it's literally just wait for Goku and Vegeta. But, that's a whole other different topic. I think it'd be really cool to see, GT as a story introduced, because I'd be curious to see how they do it. But I just think with how GT actually played out, I think it'd be kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's cool to get it, but in terms of actually playing it, it might not be like, it might just be one of those things like, eh.
Yeah,
Um, so next question, because I talked about it a little bit earlier with the controls. How comfortable are you with the controls as of right now? Because you mentioned, Raging Blast, so you kind of have. I know the controls aren't 100% the same, but you have that, sort of experience playing Dragon Ball games on the PlayStation.
man. Controls. I'm not gonna lie, I still feel rusty. There's certain things that they kind of swapped, like Vanish. I'm pretty sure because I used to play it on 360 and
Hmm.
the PlayStation 3. On Rage and Blast. I'm pretty sure it was the right bumper, and then like what would be A or like
Hmm.
X on a PlayStation.
Hmm.
That's how you used to snap vanish. So when I came into the game, I kept clicking R1 and X, thinking I'm a snap vanish, and I messed up my timing. It's just R1. It's weird though. I think the hardest thing for me has been comboing. In other fighting games, I can combo pretty well, like Tekken 8. I know it's a little bit off topic, but like I can follow some of the command lists. I'm not an expert or anything like that. Tekken has some crazy combos,
Hmm.
but in this, it feels like it's kind of hard to like follow up. I feel like I hit somebody away,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like, how do I like? I don't know. I don't know how I feel like to extend combos. I feel like extending combos in this game is a little weird with the controls.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, it's still some of the other things like, like snap vanishing. I'm not 100% good with some of the counters just yet. I'm not a master. If anything, I think I what helps me out is, I know a lot of the characters say like strengths and weaknesses. Like for example, um we'll say Goku for example, or Kamehameha. Usually Kamehamehas and the Dragon Ball games are always pretty good. Um but before this, the only other well, I'm not counting Xenoverse because Xenoverse is a whole different set of mechanics. The only other Dragon Ball game I've played that is somewhat similar to Sparking Zero is the first Raging Blast. And I haven't played that in 2024. I had to think of it this way. Probably since like freshman or sophomore year of high school. It's been that long. I didn't play Raging Blast that much. Like I liked it. I enjoyed the game. I just didn't play it as much. So another decent little segue would being how does Sparking Zero compare to other Dragon Ball games? Because like I know that with you, I've played Fighters. We're talking about Raging Blast. We're talking about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. How does it compare? Like, would you say like it's even though it's only been a week, would you say that like Sparking Zero is just as good, if not better, than most of the past Dragon Ball games that you've played?
I'm gonna go out and say, even though it's only been a week, and I might be a prisoner of the moment, in my opinion, it's the best Dragon Ball game of all time, hands down. It's pretty much got everything you want. It's got unique character interactions. When you pick two characters, you put them in a certain setting, they interact based off how they interact in the story. So if you pick Goku versus Frieza, their dialogue isn't the same as Frieza fighting like Trunks or Piccolo or anybody else.
Hmm.
Um, I think the cinematics is really good. Like just how they kind of changed how you go through the Dragon Ball story. I feel like the problem with in my opinion, like Rage and Blast 2 was just like you just go through the story as it happened in the anime and the manga, and there was nothing. unique about it. But now they give you like the option to do different things. Um, just little, little things here and there where it felt like there's attention to detail that other games didn't have. Um, and then just the biggest thing to me was just basically like when you get into a fight, I don't know. When I play fighters, maybe because of the roster was limited, but it felt like I'm gonna say it felt the same, but it kind of felt like every fight was very, very similar, and I can see how people can get bored of the game quickly. But this, I feel like since the roster is so unique and so many different characters have different abilities, like so far from when I played, if you're playing two different characters, even if they have similar skill sets like Gohan and Goku, when you play against somebody, it does not feel like you're just playing a different version of Goku. It feels like you're playing Gohan. Just other versions of the same character. Like Super Saiyan Goku does not feel like Super Saiyan Blue, like or Super Saiyan God at all. Like it feels completely different. The moveset, everything. Whereas like other Dragon Ball games, it just feels like a Goku with a different Kamehameha, something like that. I don't know how to explain it, but exactly. But it
I
feels
know
like
exactly what you mean.
every character is different. I don't know. To me, it's the best game.
Yeah. I wanna before I officially crown it, I'm not gonna say it's the 100% best yet, but I would definitely say it is 100% already in the conversation. Like for me, it's like if somebody still says Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is the best one, like a couple months from now, I'm not gonna disagree with that or argue against it. If somebody's gonna say, if somebody's a huge fan of like the Raging Blast games, if somebody's gonna say that one of those are the best, I'm not gonna argue with it. If somebody's gonna say Xenoverse, then I'll argue with it a little bit because I already think because I love Xenoverse too. I think it's a great game, but I think Sparking Zero is better.
Yeah.
I think it's more enjoyable. Like it has that very modern aspect because from Raging Blast 2, whenever year that came out, to Sparking Zero, they've added so much Dragon Ball content. In Raging Blast 2, Beerus wasn't even in the game, maybe not even thought of. Now we have, basically a bunch of god power characters in the game. I just think, Dragon Ball, at least video games, are in such a good place that it's hard for Sparking Zero to not be one of the top games. And also, this is a great time to mention what is one thing that you would change about Sparking Zero? And to add on to this, it doesn't have to be something that you think is a bad about the game, just maybe something that you've seen that can maybe be better. I'll go first. It's just because I'm an indecisive person. Doesn't matter if you're playing the DP battle or just normal teams. The limited time to pick
Yes.
characters. Because doing the math to 15 points, that's not hard, but it's like if you're gonna play with, say, if you're gonna play an OP character, say you're gonna play as Beerus, he's like 10 points. Then it's like, okay, you have to pick a 5 point character. You're already extremely limited in who else you can pick. So it's like, unless you pick a bunch of people who's near, the same point value as each other, because I think it technically starts with 40 seconds, give or take. I'm sorry, need more time. Need more time. Like at least a minute, at least, because I feel like a minute is enough. Because there's so many characters, 100 over 180 characters. You expect me to pick, we'll just say at least three characters in 40 seconds? Like I'm not that decisive, but for this game, oh, I'm gonna play as Krillin. Oh, I'm gonna play as Piccolo. I'm gonna play as Frieza. Oh wait, should I'm over the limit. I gotta go and scramble find another character. Need more time.
Yeah. That's one of my main things is the the balancing the DP. You know what I'm saying? Counting to 15 isn't hard, but it's also the fact that you got basically what feels like a billion characters in the game, and I gotta remember which character is which DP. I'm not gonna remember that some random character that I don't really play with, like, oh, Goten is only three or five or whatever he is, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
you don't remember off the top of your head. So you gotta scroll through and kind of okay, he's four, he's three. And it's like before you know it, clock is like 10, 9. So now you're just randomly picking people. Now you got Tien and Yamcha, you didn't even want them. You really want to Goku Black. Now you just adding people at the last minute because you're scrambling. Um, but another thing I would change. We play split screen. I know split screen is not popular in like video games anymore because like a lot of people just play online with their friends.
Hmm.
If you live with like if you somebody who got like a brother or sister, your dad, or younger, if y'all like Dragon Ball, you trying to play a game, you know what I'm saying? Playing split screen, in my opinion, has always been like more fun than playing online.
Same.
Or just any game like locally co-op competitive, whatever. Like when we play Madden, it's always just felt better playing on the same console. Not only because it's more fluid and it's not lagging and all that,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I feel like being in a room as the same person is more fun, and they got to change the way um that you can set up the settings. I get online is one way for like ranking purposes and all that, and keep the game balanced. But I feel like when you're doing local competitive, we should have way more options like change the DP, um, change all kinds of like what type of battle it is and everything
Hmm.
like that. I feel like it should be more settings for multiplayer locally. But um, from what I heard, game development split screen was like a last minute thing.
Hmm.
They weren't even gonna have that first, and that's why. What is the only map they have for it? Is it
The hyperbolic time chamber.
yeah, hyperbolic time chamber? I'm sorry, I get like it was a time constraint, but like, come on, we need some new maps and an update, some new locations because fighting on the hyperbolic time chamber, it's not horrible, but it's like we couldn't get like a basic, I don't know, like a Namek or something as like another map. I don't know. It just felt weird to me that they kind of like released this half finished product of split screen. That's my only thing with the game.
I totally get that. And I think that once they, add to, like the maps, I feel like it'll play smoother and like, when we were playing over the weekend split screen, I feel like it was hard for player two to pick their characters because it'd be like so like finicky, awkward. I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't
I don't think.
annoying, it just was awkward.
Yeah, I would have to click something, and you click something. It was weird.
Yeah. It was, really, really weird to me. Another question being, now this one's already a hot topic if you look in the right places, but who is one character that you would want to see in Sparking Zero?
Correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't unlocked all the characters and I don't know the DLC.
Hmm.
But Broly's dad, I think his name is Paragus.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Is he in this game? I don't think he's.
he's not. He's never been in a Dragon Ball game.
Yeah, I think because they're going with the whole like create your story,
Hmm.
what if scenario with this game. I feel like some characters that we never really got to see fight in the manga, anime movies and all that,
Hmm.
they bring them into the game now because they can be as creative as they want with their moveset. Um, a lot of people are like, oh, we want Super 17 or whatever. That's
Hmm.
cool. I agree. It would be cool if he's in the game. But I'm more on the realm of like, let's get characters we never seen before. And Paragus is my number one. Because we know how strong Broly is and how
Hmm.
crazy he is. I want to see what his dad is like. Where did he get all that anger from?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. For me, if I had to add a character, that's all because like, of course, I want to see like Super 17. Um, I will say this for sure. I repeat, I do not want to see Super Dragon Ball Heroes characters in this game. Do not want to see it. Like, it's one of those things where I just can't really explain it. It's just a hard, definitive no for me. And I know I don't mean any disrespect. Like, Super Dragon Ball Heroes is its own thing, and it should stay its own thing. Um, if I had to add one character, the easy answer is Super 17. Oh, I just thought of somebody.
I thought somebody too.
I'll say PyCon. Um,
Yup.
because after the Cell Saga, when Goku was in the Otherworld tournament, he fought PyCon, which PyCon's he's not a Namekian. I don't think it's ever been explained what he actually is, but I mean he just was a cool character. It was a cool filler fight. So I'll say adding PyCon's character to the game would be pretty unique. Um, yeah, I can't really think of who else I would consider adding
I got one.
100% definitively.
I, 'Cause I was saying like, characters we never really seen fight.
Mhm.
This character did fight, but it was brief. Not sure if they're in the game or playing for DLC. Give me Chi Chi.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
I think we've seen her fight when she was younger, and that's
Yeah.
cool. Can we get a Chi Chi like I don't know, like Dragon Balls? I guess she won't be able to fight because she hasn't probably trained in like forever.
Hmm.
Even if they drop like the younger version of her, I think that would be cool though. Like, give me Chi Chi. I haven't seen her pretty much fighting forever. Like,
I agree with that 100%. I'm still trying to think of, I mean, the only other easy answer I could think of in terms of other playable characters, the Shadow Dragons like Sin Shenron, there's seven of them. Now, ironically, the three most popular ones are Ice Shenron, the Blue Dragon, Nova Shenron, the red one, and then Sin Shenron. That leaves four other ones. Now, not all of them are, say, super, super strong. I mean, out of the other four, um, only really one of them gave Goku trouble, like a lot of trouble. So, I mean, I think it would be like a little cool thing because I mean, like Sparking Zero doesn't have like not every character is super strong. So it's like,
yeah,
I mean, I feel like they could, maybe consider adding them. But no, like I know some people would like to see, like the manga content, like um Vegeta has a transformation. Well, I don't know if it's a transformation. Like I know what it is, but I don't know if it's say a transformation. Um, Goku's Ultra Instinct's already in the game. I get the feeling that, Beast Gohan is going to be added to the game, so he'll get that transformation. Same with Piccolo, probably sometime soon. Um,
yeah,
but there's a lot of manga characters that, fans seem to really, really like be added to the game. I'm not really sure. I mean, I think if I were to read the manga and then be like, okay, I really, really like this character, then like I probably wouldn't see a problem adding them. But as of right now, today, I would not add them, but my answer could easily change as soon as tomorrow. But here really is just our final topic, the two hard-hitting questions. So for Sparking Zero, this looking at it bigger, what are your thoughts on the quality of anime games for like Dragon Ball compared to other animes? And that's something that me and you talked about a lot. For anime games that I have played, specifically Dragon Ball, I have not played like all of them. I've loved them. And the thing is, a lot of people hate the game Dragon Ball Z Sagas. Now, again, it's just from my childhood. Now, I could admit that, I've played better Dragon Ball games than that specific one. But it's like, compared to other anime games I've seen, like, I've never played this game, so it could be a lot of fun. But I don't know anybody who plays it personally. Dragon Ball Z The Breakers. I don't know anybody who plays it personally. And from what I've heard about it, a lot of people don't really have that many good things to say about it, from what I've heard. Um, Other anime games. Like I just think Dragon Ball Z, I feel like they put more time and effort in, like we were talking about earlier at the beginning. Like I feel like Xenoverse 2 is still making DLC for their game. And now I know it probably just seems like the average people that they're just like, hurry up, make the next DLC. But they put a lot of effort into those DLC. I don't care what anybody says. Xenoverse looks beautiful. It's a like it looks great. Sparking Zero looks better with its graphics, but Xenoverse is still a good looking game. I will not touch online in Xenoverse ever again because that's a different topic. But I just think, with like Dragon Ball compared to Naruto, Naruto has, the Ultimate Storm series. I think, other, Dragon, even not Sparking Zero. I think I liked Raging Blast more than, some of Naruto's games. I liked Budokai Tenkaichi 3 more than I liked Naruto's games. One Piece. I can't name a single One Piece game off the top of my head. Then we also have, Ultra Rumble and we have One's Justice, which both are great games. Ultra Rumble's very, very toxic.
man, don't play ranked. Do not
Yeah.
play ranked.
Do not play ranked unless you want to have a bad time. But I just think Dragon Ball Z puts in more effort. I don't know if just because they get more money, more funding. I'm not sure. But I just think I just appreciate the thought and effort they put into their games.
Yeah, I think it feels like it's always a lot better. Now I know that it comes down to budget for a lot of these anime games. You know, a game I feel like that has a lot of better budget. You know what I'm saying? It's probably going to be the better game. It games are expensive to make. If you only got a couple million to make a game, probably gonna drop a low quality game. You know what I'm saying? Just getting all these graphics and stuff like that, and people to animate all that is expensive. I feel like Dragon Ball is better, definitely because of the budget. But I also feel like it has the most potential out of a lot of these games, and I feel like that's the reason because they let the game or like the story develop and they grow. You know what I'm saying? Like it's at a point where it's so many characters, there's so many different storylines, like different sagas and all that that you can make a story out of, or manipulate and do different things with. That story can go almost anywhere. Um, like Xenoverse 2. Xenoverse 2 is literally just about, you fixing the timeline. There's so many different parts of the story that you can fix. Whereas a game like Demon Slayer, those games, Jujutsu Kaisen had a game too, where like those are really popular animes. Now they're not above, you know what I'm saying, um Dragon Ball in terms of like popularity, but
Hmm.
within the anime community, it's up there. Like most people who know Dragon Ball, if you're into anime, if you know Dragon Ball, you probably know Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. Only thing is, it's not one of those things where like somebody would go out there and buy, the Jujutsu Kaisen game if they don't watch it. Whereas somebody they don't necessarily watch Dragon Ball, they still know of it. They might take a chance and buy the game. So I feel like the budget is higher,
Hmm.
but it's definitely because it's just more story. Like it's so much in Dragon Ball that you can do so much with it. Whereas Demon Slayer, like I think they created a game and they weren't even in like well into season 2 yet. I
Yeah,
don't.
you're talking
I think
about
they.
the like Hinokami Chronicles game, right?
I think it was only at the first season because I think they stopped at the train arc, and
Yeah,
that's.
I'm not
I think that's.
100% sure, so you're probably right.
Yeah, I think they created a game after the train arc, and I was like, dude, like that's one season. I get the show was really popular, but can we get like something actually developed?
Hmm. Now, the real
But I don't know.
marketing
Dragon Ball just seems
question,
to do it more for me.
other than
Understand?
Dragon Ball games, what would you say, like, if you're gonna hook up your PS5, your Xbox, any system, you had to play an anime game that is not Dragon Ball. What game would you pick to play and say why? For me, it's gonna be Ultra Rumble. Like, I just think that Ultra Rumble, like, not to go too into this, but like, it is a fun game, like we talked about it. It's a unique spin on an anime game. I'm just, since they introduced Hawks, like, that's just, when I run into one, my mental health slowly starts
Oh,
to go down.
I literally do not want to fight a Hawks player. Like I don't want to encounter those players when I come across them, like at all.
Yeah. But encounter, like, now these cannot be compared, but the struggle of this can be compared. Fighting a Hawks, if you're a grounded character, is like if you pick Chonsu and you're going up against like Hit, Yajirobe, Ultra Instinct, or Whis. Like even if you can put damage on them, like they can just get away. So there's things built into their kit that allow
Yeah,
them to just, you can F me up all you want, but I'm just gonna get right back on my feet.
yeah. It's just man. You hit a Hawks player, they fly 20 miles away before you even realize. Like
For real.
I feel like that's up there with me too. Like Ultra Rumble is definitely a game where I'm like, we played it so much. Um, we both pretty much got over 300 hours in that game.
Mhm.
But the thing is, like, I don't. Well, Ultra Rumble, it's a good game, but like, man, does it have some bad qualities at times? I feel like the gotcha system, in my opinion, gotcha is probably the worst thing to happen in gaming.
It makes
I,
me want to punch myself in the face
I
sometimes. I'm
blame
not gonna
I
lie.
blame companies like EA and 2K. Now, gotcha is already its own thing in Japan, but I feel like huge companies like EA and 2K made it more normalized to just like basically make you open packs and see what you get. And I'll be willing to put Ultra Rumble up there, just like not even just anime games, but just like out of all my favorite games.
Mhm.
If they would remove the gotcha system and let you grind for characters, like if you get ranked points and all that, you can spend and buy characters. That would be one thing.
Mhm.
But since it's pretty much like get your credit card out and hope that you get a character, that's what it's like. Oh man, like y'all was this close to making a good game. Like
Hmm.
I would say it's a good game. It's just not a great game.
Yeah. I just think that Ultra Rumble, like it has a time, like if like whether you're playing alone or playing with your team, if you're doing well, then it could be something that could play for a couple hours. But if you're getting your butt beat, it's just something different. But also the other thing about, like me picking Ultra Rumble, that is honestly just dependent on where I am slash who I'm with. Like us right now. Like, you're at school, I'm at home, you're about 2 hours away from each other. So it's like we can't play split screen with each other, obviously. So like we play online. But say like my older brother who's a little bit closer and he's like, I was like, yo, Cameron, come play Sparking Zero. I could go to him or he can go to me. Not to say that, I can't go to because I just did it this past weekend. But yeah, it would honestly just depend on the person that you're potentially playing a game with. But other anime games that I really, really like, I'm a big fan of Ultimate Storm 4. Honestly, if video games weren't so large in size, pause, um, I would like Ultimate Storm Connections. Like, we don't even have to go too into it. Like, I do like that they added some of the other characters, but I mean, if it was if it like video games are just so large in like the space that they take up on your system. It's like I don't want to get, 40, 50 games. Like I'm fine with having, like my 5 to 10 games, but slowly starting to just completely wrap up. Is there anything else you want to add about Sparking Zero in terms of say what you like, don't like, what you want to see, the online community? I only played a rank twice. I got my butt beat by Goku Black. I didn't get my ass kicked. Let me add that in there. I stood a chance, but the dude who's playing his Goku Black, other than his damage output, he just knew the controls better. They just knew the controls better than me.
Two things. Something we talked about earlier, and you just reminded me. Um, I guess it kind of goes back to what we were saying at first, though. What's it like surprised you? The file size. We live in a time now with video games. I remember just putting a CD in a game, and, in a console, and it'll boot up. And that was the only thing you had to do.
Hmm.
Then we got to like GTA 5, where it's like, okay, you got to download the game with the disc one, and then play it on disc two. I was like, all right, whatever.
Hmm.
But man, we get some like 100 gigabyte games now. I'm like, dude, like that's ridiculous. There's no reason 2K should be like over 100 gigs. It's a basketball game.
Yeah,
College
2K23 is
football
like 175.
isn't college football like 40 or something like that now with all the updates and stuff
Yeah,
or
I think it's
something?
about 40 or 50, give or take.
Yeah, like I think was Dragon Ball now is like what 27.
Yeah, which
Um,
I thought it
I
was going to
think
be way bigger.
yeah, I don't know what these some of these developers are doing. They got to clean up their games. There's no reason it should be 100 gigs. Call of Duty. Look, I know it's a big, expensive map and all that, and it should not be 100 gigs, 200 gigs. That's ridiculous.
That's why
That's
I'm not going to buy the game, to be honest with
yeah.
you.
I make my friend buy that. We game share. The other thing, number two, I was surprised about, or just like the community has not been as toxic as I thought it would be. Um, Now I feel like 4 or 5 months from now, we might be there where we get like guys who spam certain DLC characters or like certain combos. That's the worst thing. I feel like when one like pro player or like one player who's really good at game starts, hey, this is like an infinite combo you can do.
Mhm.
It's like, why did you release this to the public? Now I gotta play. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say like 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, whatever. People find out like Super Saiyan God Vegeta is like really broken.
Mhm.
Now you got to fight 1,000 of those. Just like when people found out Twice was broken in My Hero, and now with Hawks. If somebody has Hawks as a playable character, they're playing him every game. You got to fight 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm surprised at how many people actually want to play different characters. Like I'm running into like Chatsus, um, Vidals, you know what I'm saying, things like that. Goten. I'm like, okay, not everybody just wants to play like Whis and like Beerus. That was the biggest thing that I thought that was cool about this game.
And I agree. I agree. Indeed. To kind of close off on that thought, I haven't run into this. Just other YouTubers I've seen. A big Dragon Ball, just a big, say like anime YouTuber in general, Afro Senju.
Yeah, that makes
Um, he like there are a lot of people with characters who have after image strike, where basically you just cannot be hit for 15 seconds. Um, That's the only thing that I've seen.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
in
I heard
terms of
about
like
that.
cheesing,
Yeah,
but for the most part, from what I've seen, it's like, well, like you might run into a lot of people using Captain Ginyu, but that's a pretty valid strategy. You might run into Um, even though it'd be annoying, I would much rather run into, like Ultra Instinct Goku than like people just, abusing like the Super Saiyan Vegeta example you had thought of. I would much rather somebody just pick a super strong character and they're not like abusing them, but that is what it is. But overall, I think Sparking Zero is a great game, and I think it's only going to continue to get better. And I just want to thank you for hopping on the podcast and talking about some anime with me because you know uh, I needed some more content that's not just football related content. So thank you.
yeah, yeah. No problem, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. So thank you all for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode.